It's just going to be a discussion. We are all just going to discuss and then share ideas about certain things that we can do. But first and foremost, can I see the freshers here? The 100s. Has always been the same. One, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you part? 4. Until ukwa no atomo. And yanka oh sorry, and now madam we bet now I need say hundreds for now. Oh no, I mean just it. I'm just kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. But my conversation with leadership tells me we are about on paper we are about 50 or 30. Pardon? On paper we are about 50. But those who come to church are about 30 or 20 or 10. Okay. I mean, it's our job, right? That we have to make sure that we speak to the others and get more people to come because it's your week. Oh, that's the truth. That's the truth. Is your week. I know some of our seniors are here, and special thanks to those in leadership for organizing the Freshers Week. As has always been the case, every academic year, when we receive new freshers, we put a whole week down for them to discuss certain topics such as these. And thank to leadership, especially led by our preacher Nelson, for the opportunity. So freshers, I would encourage you that try as much as possible to get connected to your colleagues. When you are coming to church, come with them and let us have that sense of belonging, all right? And let us have that joy that comes with coming to church anytime we are invited. I remember in 2016, I was also a fresher. Some not 9 years properly, some 8 years ago. Small boy, just like how we're seated. You know, if you're a fresher, it's like like you have given yourself up for baptism. That day is a happy day because we jealous you a lot. Do you know why we jealous you? In your MIS web, you have 4.0 flat. Like you don't have anything to, you don't have any stress. So like they have given it to you. So if God comes and we end school, you have a 4.0 GPA. Anyway, so we envy you. So please, I would encourage all of you to partake in everything that the church does, be involved, okay? And then I believe that you are going to benefit. I'm just trying to recollect my level 100 freshers week as well. I think our freshers week, we went to um, Church of Christ University, Legon Church. So that was where we were doing our freshers week because as at then we were about to come to this place. But I remember the very one I remember was that it was a practice of the church that Freshers Week was always at Botanical Gardens. So I remember that was where we had some of our freshers activities, getting to know each other and all that. And when we met here, and then on Sunday they gave us exercise books. Church of Christ, University of Ghana, I was on it, and then all that. It was interesting. We are about to discuss a topic which is very important. It's important because unfortunately we don't have a projector. So I think I sent it across. Please, do we all have the slides? Anyone who has the slides, just show by hand. Anyone having it? It should be on our platform. So just go to your platform. I'm sure Gabby had put it there or Isaac had podcasted it. So you should have it. We'll try and make some meaning out of it, but I will try as much as possible to elicit contributions from you, and then let us engage and let's see how we can delve into the concept of time management while we try to make meaning out of it. And so I put there an image. If you see, I think it's a slide number 2 or 3. However, I'll try to look at some myths about time management. I'll look at why it is necessary that we manage our time, because some people have said that it's not necessary that we need to manage our time as University of Ghana students or as freshers. Then we'll look at why managing our time is important. And we'll also look at some workable time management techniques, which I would submit to you to have a look at. And I believe that is going to help us all. And so we'll have a look at that. There is a picture there which I have put there confused. I'm asking you, are you confused? I mean, which comes first? What do you do first? And so you can see a picture with a clock. Please, can you see that? Okay, we can see a picture with a clock in there, and we can see in the clock, around the clock, actually, there is God, there is work, there is family, there is school, there is friends, there is devotion, there is exercise, there is church, there is intimacy, there is vacation. So you find out that you have a variety of things that you need to choose from. And the question is that you need to be able to mix them up or choose particular ones or let go of some of them. And so in all these things, you have limited time that you need to do all these things. And so it is a question I'm asking to you, that in all these things that you see around the clock, are you confused? What do you choose? Okay. All right. So the introduction, let's move on to the introduction. We are saying that time management is a marriage between what? Skill and habit. Skill and habit, because you see, we've always been discussing this. This is not the first time we'll talk about the need to manage our time well as University of Ghana students. And you find out, in fact, let me make this point, that time management is a biblical principle. Okay. Do not see it as just it's for motivational speakers. So when they come, they talk about that. And I would, if I have time, I would let you in on why it is very important. And I think it's in there in the slides. It's a biblical principle, because if we have understanding of how to manage our time, it will let us live each and every day as if we have limited time and that God can come any point in time. And so have that at the back of your mind, that even though you are in school, even though we are going to look at certain things we call time wasters and things that always stand in our way that does not make us achieve our goals, you should understand that it is a biblical principle. And so for you and I, we should be interested in managing our time and making the best out of it, especially because you are in a university community. The assumption is that if you are doing an undergraduate program, you have 4 years usually to complete your program. So what it means is that, and you see, you don't have luxury of time every day. I'm telling you that if you like, just sit down and just reflect about, if you are in 100, just look at when you entered. I'm guessing everybody in 100 is a free SHS beneficiary, isn't it? Good. Just sit down and cast your mind. Just look at when you were in school. Do you agree with me? Time is fleeting, isn't it? You find out that it was just yesterday you were in school. The first people who didn't, as I stand here, I've never had a graduation proper, because my graduation was click to graduate, like it was online. So those of us who were hit by COVID, and I think it started in 2019, and I completed in 2020. So we didn't have that luxury of getting to see our friends, that interactions and all that. And it came like a flash. We did a semester at home, and the semester at home just came like a flash, because you are there. They said go to Sakai. They've uploaded videos there. You need to watch. The next day you observe. It's locked down. You are not going anywhere. The next day we are writing exams. It's online. First time we are ever doing something like that. Things were very new. And it kind of dawned on me that time indeed is fleeting. Just look at when COVID came. It was just recently. But now it's 2025. That's how many years? Like 5 to 6 years ago. Just cast your mind across. If you are in level 100, just look at when you were in senior high school. And that should tell you that indeed time is fleeting. And the fact that it is fleeting, and they say time waits for no man, should give you an understanding that you should be able to what? To make use of that time. And there is something we are going to look at, and you'll find out a lot in our discussion today. We'll be talking about priority. It is very, very essential. And I would also be talking about staying focused, because you will observe that if we are not careful, certain things will win us over, and we will say we don't have time. In fact, I've put there a quote, and it says that the bad news is time flies, and the good news is you are the pilot. And I think it is true. You see, everybody says he's busy. You know, the president is also a busy person. But look at the president and look at you. One thing that we all have in common is that we all have in a space of time 24 hours. Nobody has more. Hallelujah. Anybody here having more than 24 hours in a day? I doubt. All of us have 24 hours in a day. And so it's basically mean that you are the one who needs to manage your time. I mean, you are the one in charge of the time that you have. And so you should be able to take charge. And when we are going and looking at the time managing techniques, there is one thing we are going to talk about. And I would want us to pay very, very much attention to it when we get there. Again, there is another man, Stewart, okay? And this is what he said. He agrees but says that technically we are not managing time. We are managing ourselves within the same fixed boundary we all have. And that is true. Because if all of us are having 24 hours as students, why are we able to differentiate students' classification and in the university in terms of what? GPA or academics, and we are able to say that somebody did A, B, and C, and somebody was able to do well than the other. After all, we all sit in the same class, we have the same course content, and it is your decision to go for class if you like, go for tutorials if you like. And that is where, for us, it's important that whatever we are discussing, we try and now delve further into how we can make time not just for ourselves in the academic discourse community, but also in the church, because our topic is saying that something harmonious, right, between what academic life and then our life at church. If you ask me, I'll tell you there is really no. If people talk about balance, balancing. How do I balance my academic work? How do I balance my academic work with my church life? For me, really, there is really no balance, because again, balance might be relative to you. But if we understand that, what is your goal in school? What is your goal in life at all? Okay, I think that will help you to draw a balance. Do you know it's not everybody in school who is here to study and graduate well? Do you know that? Do you know that? Oh, hallelujah. In fact, let me ask our level hundreds. I mean, it's your day. So, someone share with us. I just want to find out from you. Why are you in school? Why are you in school? Anyone to share with us? Please, where are level hundreds? Yes, level hundreds. Oh, talk to us. It's your day. Why are you? Okay, there is a lady here to share. Okay, please share with us.
Okay, personally, why I'm here is because I developed interest in teaching kids after SHS, because I went into people teaching to find money to continue my education. So along the line, teaching kids, I developed an interest in it. So I decided to go into teacher training, but I was not able to get admission. So I came into the University of Ghana to study and get
So
into
your
teaching.
goal is to study.
Yes,
That
please.
is your goal. Thank you for sharing. Yes, any other person. Oh, let's be interactive. I mean, it's not I they put their lectureship, but I hardly do lectureships in my discussions. I just want us to, have a conversation. Yes.
Mine is positive.
Hey, are you people sure everybody is here to study? Okay, yes. Lucrete's brother. Uh-huh.
Here to add to my skill sets,
Okay.
add up to my knowledge.
To add up to your knowledge. So something similar to study, knowledge acquisition. Okay, hello. Can you share with us why you are here? Some
Yeah.
women they say bra school account. Well, some people are in school. It's true. I have friends who are in school, okay, to please their parents. And so for that person, the goal of that person is not to make good grades. It is our class or there are some people in school, it is a societal norm that gets a degree, but that person wants to be a footballer. So if that person does not come for class, does not come for studies, that person's goal is I want to be a footballer. So do not think that that person is not a serious student, because at the end that person might not graduate well, but if he does what he's doing very well, he will graduate as a very good professional footballer and would have a career. Do you get the analogy? So let's be very sincere with ourselves. I mean, not all of us are here for school. Okay, please share with us.
Okay, so I'm here to know more about life.
You are here to learn more about life, and you chose a university. Hey, then that one is a mission school, like missionary school or somewhere. Anyway, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So you see, there are some people also who are in school because somebody mentioned a skill. Patrick, right? You mentioned a skill. Good. So somebody before coming to the school had studied about University of Ghana, and so the person knows that there is a sport directorate and that he has a skill. So that person's objective, like Azamati, might not be that he is coming to school to come and learn. Oh. I'm not sure Azamati had the first class. Did he? I doubt. Please, how many of us know him? The University of Ghana sprinter. He didn't even finish. How many of us know 𝐼𝐄𝐻𝐶𝐃? He's an old student of this church. 𝐼𝐄𝐻𝐶𝐃. Yeah. He was a student here. But I observed that when we were on campus, Isaac, the guy was, I don't know how to describe him. He's so ambitious. And he wasn't so I don't know what made him come to school. But I remember at a point he started sign language class. I even enrolled. He called it 3SL. At a point he started an agency. He started a multimedia. This guy was a student. Then in a year he can defer his course. Then go and do all these things. Now I learned he wants to do Guinness World Record for visiting most visited country in a time frame or something. And so I think he also didn't complete school. So, guys, the thing is that if we talk about time management, first principle I want us to all have in mind is that have a goal. And everybody's goal is different. Okay? I'm saying that because if your goal is to come to school to study, make that goal a priority. If your goal is to come to school to graduate and graduate well, or to come to school and complete school well by still being a disciplined person or being a Christian and still upholding to your Christian morals and still being a very committed member of COCUG, make that point your goal. I'm saying that because there are some people that I met who were in school, anything about church was not a priority for them. And so for them, they thought that it was just school. But again, we are Christians first. And I remember when we were in school, they asked us, why are you in the university? We are here to study. That's fine. We agree. But who are you first and foremost? You are a Christian, isn't it? And so for me, my priority was always being a Christian first before school. And so, yes, I would have my timetable, I will block certain times. And whenever it was a time for church, there was no two ways about it. It was always my priority. And so I'll make sure that I wanted to go all out to achieve it. And so, brethren, that is what I want to suggest to us this morning, that first and foremost, everybody has a goal. And if you are seated here and you don't have that goal, you need to define one goal for yourself. Because whatever you are, whatever you think about, whatever becomes your conversation, what you talk about often, you will find yourself doing that thing later in the future. And so, if you are a student, you are you like coming to church, you like having discussions about church, you should take interest in those things because you will find out that you are making certain decisions in the future and it will be based on what you learned during those times. And so let us now delve into why it is important to effectively manage our time. You see, some people say, oh, me dear, time management, or some people say that I've intentionally not sat down to plan my life. The thing is that if you're a good time planner, what it means is that you are able to manage your life well. And so some people actually say time management is life management. Okay. It is important that we manage our time. You see, there are some people, and we'll talk about them. I used to know some people that if you go into their space without inviting them, they will not receive you. You know what I mean? There are some people that, and we had some in this church. If you go and visit them and you don't give them prior notice, they will not attend to you. Do we have some people like that? Do you have some people like that? Okay, I see a hand there. And there were some people like that, or some lecturers like that. If they don't have you in their space, they will not make provision for you. That is how far some people have gone into understanding how to apportion time within their space. And I'll submit to you that we should look at some of these things. I've talked about goal achievement. Another thing is that it helps you to be efficient. Efficient or efficiency is looking at lesser inputs, greater outputs. Hallelujah. And so when I was in school, there are times that I used to deceive myself. Mabre, but mpɛ sɛ mesua adeɛ. Nti no, obiara ɛrekɔsua adeɛ wɔ reading room. I was in Saba, main hall. Then Mr. Mafa be back, say mekɔ akɔsua adeɛ. But I will go at 12, I will come back, basa mensua hwee, mekɔdaeɛ. Why? Because I was so tired and there was no way I could have imbibed knowledge or study like and really understand. But it was more or less like everybody needs to study, so people are doing it. So I didn't really plan well, so I just joined and then I go. But there is a way, and so I observed that in the university I struggled to study because when I was in SS, I was studying very well and it reflected in what I want. Although I did well, I felt I could have done better. And that is where efficiency comes to play. And so efficiency is saying that little input, greater output. How many times would you devote to study such that you can have a greater, output out of it? And so you have limited resources you are putting into something. And so that is where the concept of study smart, but don't study hard. And I think I was studying hard when I was in school because I could sit down and I want to study everything that was taught in class. And I observed that whenever I did that, it took a lot of my time because I'm someone that my learning style was, and because I wasn't learning smart, I found this out. And it's all about time management. So study yourself and know. I observed that whenever I went to the lecture hall and I'd read the slides ahead of time, I understood the concept better. And I asked the lecturer a question in class, and his response to the question always stick in my head. And so whenever I went back, I'm able to solve additional questions, attend tutorials, and I cover that page and I move on to the next. But anytime that I went to class and I wasn't prepared, everything that he teaches that day becomes a burden to me because I have to now go and sit down, read it over again before I get the concept. So everybody has to identify himself. And that is about studying smart. Because if you are able to study smart, what it does is that it will help you to manage time. Again, we said it gives you a sense of control. You are able to control a lot of things around you. You see, some people are not able to come to church, not because they don't love God, but because they fail to plan such that they have thorns on things on them. And so they are unable to select and eliminate some of them to make way for church. I'll give you a typical example. If you like, leaders can conduct this. Ask people why you didn't come to church today. I had a visitor, or maybe me call market, and I say ABR, I was washing. I mean, look at the excuses they will give to you. But if members understood planning of time very well, and we sat down and we looked at how we could plan our week ahead of time, you'll find out that again, if priority for you is that you are going to always be at church gatherings, you would always not make such of these flimsy excuses. And so there is a high correlation between messing up your life when you're on campus and having a proper and decent plan for your life in terms of time. And so let us always try to draw that link, and it will help us. There is something that is in the Bible, and I want us to read, okay? Ephesians chapter 5, verse number 15 to 17. Anybody there can read for us? Ephesians 5, 15 to 17. I'll just use it to explain something quickly. Who is helping us? Okay. Amen. So you see, Bible talks about time. In fact, it says that walk as not being what fools, but as being wise, taking advantage of time. And let me say this because I've already said that our principle of time management is a biblical concept. It's in the Bible. And the Bible uses time in three sense. And I think it's in the slides, slide number 9 or so. There is one we call chronos, and that is clock time. I mean, who said that 60 seconds make a minute? It is clock time. Who said that 24 hours make a day? It is clock time. And so, clock time is what I wear on my wrist, and that is what you are being measured against while you're on the university. So, a 3-hour course is for, say, 3 hours. It's a clock time. And that is what the world knows because we came to meet clock time in the world. But there is another one that is called Kairos, and that is what we call opportunity time. And I will spend a little time to talk about those things. You see, when you are in the university, understand that there are a lot of you. And that is why you should take this lectureship very importantly, because there is time that everybody has. Opportunity time means taking advantage of the time at your disposal. What makes you different from the other person? And I think the Career and Counseling Center always talks about this. It is the additional value that you add to yourself while you are in the university. So fine, everybody is admitted to go through the system for 4 years. You graduate and get a first class. Another lady gets a first class. Fine, that is your goal. You had that. I had the first class too. But the question is that what would separate me from my colleague who I sat in the same class with in terms of our time? And that is where opportunity time comes in. So taking advantage of the time at his disposal. Make sure if you are in the university and goes to the level hundreds, take opportunity of take chances or take the opportunities that come your way. There are a lot of things that you can engage yourself in. And that is what we call the extracurricular activities. Engage in them. If the Careers and Counseling Center is making programs for career development, Leadership 360, those programs, enroll. If there is an NGO, and I know Graham has a social media, something that he's doing, you can volunteer and be part. If there is internship during your vacation, join. Okay, if there is an opportunity on campus, if there is a position in your hall, JCR, SRC, and some of these things, and you think that it fits into your goal and can help propel you, go for it. Reason is that opportunity time comes but once. It's like opportunity. Everybody will not have that. And so sit down, plan your life such that when those times come, you can take opportunity of them. I have a lot of my colleagues that when we completed school and I take my CV and they take their CVs, they were asking me, hey, how come I have a lot of things on my CV? Because I planned my time well. When I was in school, I was volunteering at Radio Universe and I was going there with my time and I wasn't being paid. And it helped me to boost my public speaking confidence. And I was a radio presenter. It helped me for me to study something that I got. When I was in school, I planned my time such that I was a leader in church as an edification leader. It helped me that I was able to use my time. I was planning my time to volunteer to go and teach kids and maths. And because of that, I put it on my CV and it helped me to land a job because the people felt this was somebody who had some extracurricular things he was doing. I still found time and was a course rep and was still a financial secretary in Mensa Sabah Hall. And I was also doing a professional certificate. What it meant is that you should be able to take opportunity whenever things avail themselves to you. I never sat home during a vacation before because after evangelism that we go, the usual 1 week evangelism, the next week I am starting an internship. And so, brethren, especially our level hundreds, you see, it will fleet so fast. And so I'll advise you that you take the advantage of the clock time at your disposal. The last one, or the last aspect of time, is ion. And that one is from 2 Corinthians 6, verse 2. And that is the time that has to do with eternity. And so when we talk about eternity time, like it is the time that God we know will come and judge. And at the end, we are all going to go to a place, either a good place or a bad place. That place, unless our figure is changed and we die. And so time is in three senses. The clock time which we have that you are supposed to come to church at 6:30, close at 8. That is clock time. The second one is the opportunity time. Those avenues, those things that come your way that you need to take advantage of to make you set yourself apart from another person. It is time. And the last one is the eternity time, maybe in heaven when we meet. And so you see that managing time is a big concept. It's not just about, oh, my sorry, medidi, my sorry, in time. It goes beyond that. And it is about life management. I want to discuss certain things and so that I can elicit more discussions on the topic. There is a mattress, and we don't have a board, but can I get a marker? Oh, I think everybody has the chart, right? Okay, you have the slides. Let's go to page number 13. There is this there that says, and you see the word priority. Priority is from the word prior, Prior. And when we say something is prior, what it means is that it comes before. And so prior has two denotations. What it means is that, in fact, the traditional meaning of the word prior, from the word priority, is something that comes before, and it is usually something which is important. So when we say priority, what it denotes is something which is important. But just recently, there's another aspect of it, which is the word urgency. And so if we say something is of priority to you, it denotes two things. It should be of importance and it should be something which is of urgency. So somebody can say, my kids are my priority. It does not necessarily mean that my kids are of my urgency, no, or they are urgent to me. What it means is that they are of importance. So it depends on the context in which you use it. But always these two things should ring a bell. Something being of importance and something being very urgent. So there is this well-known matrix that is being presented in the form of a rectangle. Now, we have important, not important, urgent, and not urgent. And the suggestion is that when two of them meet, it should, when there is a conjunction, it should end up in something else. So important and urgent, we said do it. If it is important, but it is not urgent, the matrix seems to suggest to you to decide on what to do. If it is not important and it is urgent, we are saying that the thing is not important, but it is urgent. It means that you can delegate. So for those of us who are working, we understand the word delegate. Or if you're a leader, you understand the word delegate. So you can find out that the thing is not important, but it is urgent. Example, church starts at, let's say, 6:30, but you have a lecture at 4, and you are the one supposed to come and open the place, and you are a church leader, maybe the organizing guy like you. So you find out that it's urgent. Okay, let's say the time is very closer, so it's very urgent that you come and open the place. But for you, it might not be so important because perhaps you are at a lecture. What it means is that you might not necessarily have to leave there to come. So for Tio, he's at liberty and he can what? Delegate. It is understandable. But we have one that it is not important. At the end of and yet urgent. And that is where a lot of us find our time most. You find out that one we say delete or eliminate. However, that is where a lot of us have interest in. So the footballs, find out that they are playing football. That football is not important, it's not urgent, and it's not as if it is how do you call it, a free time on your calendar. But you substitute church service for that. There is a problem because we are saying that we want to balance our time. Maybe there is a chit chat, some gossip be about, and you want to have that gossip. But you know that if you want to use this matrix to decide on your time and know what is of essence to you, it is not important and it is not urgent. And so we should be able to look at that. Let us spend some time on what is the thrust of my discussion with you today. And that is what I call it some effective time management techniques. Number one is that stay in control. You see, brethren, there are some people, so what is a party or her or her? Hey, opa, J. Nelson, ye ho week or ho. Saba, ho week or ho. Pent put the end there, compose. I mean, pent ye ho week, I don't know, or ho. Owiena Saba any Commonwealth or football match or Bebobi. Owiena Opo any Commonwealth for Eshi Jama or Mubi. The first point you need to know is that stay in control. The person I just described is that person who is always blown away by the wind and tossed to and fro. Those kind of people, they are usually battling with their time. It is all now, yes, for now. You find yourself everywhere. Oh, it is so easy to convince you. Say, Bibi Bapena, oh, you be kapena, Tim Wishema. It means that you are battling with staying control in your time. You are not able to say no to time wasters. It's what down for be, and we have those friends that you fool together. Mokoba, he doesn't study like you, but you always find out that that person is doing well. Some of them they steal time because they don't sleep at night and they study. How many of us had senior high school mates like that? There were a lot of them like that. So the first effective principle that I will share with you is that stay in control. If you want to manage your time very well, it says that eliminate distraction, time wasters, and nuisance. And you should be able to manage your interruptions. And so that was the example I said about that lady. Fine. If you go to her and you have not pre-informed her, she will not receive you. You will think, say, oh, it's too low. That is the level of her managing of interruptions. That is her. And so there are some people like that. But I mean, for we, the church members, any day, any time, it's like when you come, oh, it's free. But you should be mindful. If you are somebody who kind of receive people like that, you are not able to manage new signs. I mean, time wasters or things that distract you a lot. You might be having something as a problem in terms of time management. Look at that very well. And so, number one is that stay in control. That principle of stay in control means that you should be able to decide what comes to you and takes up your time. And so I've submitted to you that if you are a Christian, book time for every church activity. So, like, don't make it, of course, we know that when Wednesday there is dawn prayers, 5 to 6 is booked. Saturday, dawn prayers, 5 to 6. Thursday, there is prayers. Wednesday, Bible study. So, aside those areas, the rest are for you. And so you should be able to stay in control to manage interruptions that come your way. Because if you don't manage interruptions and you have those friends that see that you have a weak spot for staying in control, they will manipulate you. And that brings me to the point of managing your time by looking at the people you have around you as friends. Beloved, it is very important. A lot of time we admonish ourselves that let us make friends who we are going to benefit from. The science people have this term. Is it symbiotic? Is that a word? Yes. That means that there is a relationship among two people, and that relationship offers a give and take movement. Always look out for friends like that. If your friends are always advising you, always it's about football, always it's about what is trending, always it's about being able to go to a place outside campus to go and chill and to go and spend some time off, you might not stay in control with your time. And so that would be our first resolution as hundreds if you want to really manage our time. The second one is you need to plan out your day. You see, the whites are very good at this, but the blacks, we are not good at this. The whites are good such that they have developed tools, AI tools, digital calendar that they can develop and use. But how many of us maintain a calendar? How many of us? Okay, I see one. How many of us? I see two. You see, so we don't make so here's the like time naso we don't manage our time. And so if you don't plan, and the Bible has said it, it says that Luke chapter 12, 27 to 33, we must plan for the course. He said, who wants to build and will not sit down to plan ahead. Bible has talked about planning already. It says, who wants to build will not sit down and plan the cost and find out how he's going to make that building. And so if you don't plan, you would what? You will fail. And so it says, no one plans to fail, but rather we fail to plan. You wouldn't set to plan that you want to fail, but because you have failed to plan, you get off the way. And so when we were in senior high school, and I know a lot of us were doing that, I was in the peer counseling department and I was the peer counseling president. One of the things we used to do is that we used to draw a timetable. And I always loved senior high school because it helped me to plan my time well. And sometimes I wish that my life was always like that. Because in senior high school, you are able to maximize your time because the school in a way shapes how your time should be planned. It tells you when to wake up. It tells you when to go for dawn prepping. It tells you when to go for lunch. It tells you when to go for lectures. And so I have majority of my work being done by the school. How about the university? Nobody tells you when to wake up. Nobody tells you when to go for lectures. Nobody tells you when to close your laptop and say the movies are okay. Nobody tells you when to say that I am logging out of my Netflix account for the next 3 months. Nobody tells you I am being inactive on my social media accounts. Nobody tells you that. And so that is what I said. Stay in control. If you are in a fresher and you really don't see the need to stay in control and start to make certain things that interrupt your time and block them away, you can't plan your day. And we call something time audits. And I'll submit that to us. If you are failing to plan your day, don't fail to audit your day. Hallelujah. Do you understand what I just said? If you are failing to plan your day, don't fail to audit your day. Time audits simply means that sit down and ask yourself that what did I do with my time in the day? Because you and I know that sometimes it's like 2 o'clock and you're like, what have I done the whole day? Maybe you were cooking, but you were not cooking for the whole University of Ghana student populace. And I take you 8 hours. And so I know a lot of ladies would always want to go to the market once a week, bulk purchase, store it in the fridge, cook. You see, all these things, you don't see it as important, but it would differentiate you from somebody who does not do them. That always night to the market shifters, like on the day of night market, every time. Just do a calculation of your time. Look at the journey. Corner brand, look at that. And so the guys, because you can save some time out of it. The next is that implement your plan. Implement your plan. You know, as I said, all the things I say here, I try to relate it to the scripture. It says, in order for a vision to be manifested, it should be written and run. Nehemiah had a vision to build that the walls and that city for the Lord. And so when that vision came, he had to seek for permission to leave his place where he was serving as the cupbearer, and he ran that vision. How many of us have friends that when we visit them, we see them write certain things on sticky notes and put it on their walls? How many of us have those friends? Okay, or how many of us do that? Okay, the lady in yellow, you kind of seem to do everything. Charlie, you are doing well. Keep it up, okay? I'm saying that for a vision to be achieved and implemented, it needs to be well written and run. Nehemiah in Bible did that. And you see, those people who do that, it speaks to their mind. And so they understand the relevance of having sticky notes and keeping them in their rooms. What it do for them is that it tells them, it speaks to their mind, and it tells them that there are certain things that need to do. And so it is not just for any reason why you go to the big men and you see them having personal secretaries always drafting to-do lists for them. It helps them to plan their day. And the key emphasis here is that write it down and run it. You see, a lot of us have things in our mind, things we want to achieve, things we want to do, but we don't write it down. You are a businessman, you are a student entrepreneur. This is a goal you want to achieve. You will need a partnership, but you don't write it down. If you write it down, it makes your proposals ready and you can give it to people and get partnerships. And so, beloved, let us develop that spirit of writing our visions down and our to-do list. And I think that it will help us. The other one I want to talk about, the last one, and then we can start to have a discussion on questions. I think I wrote out some questions and I'll give it to us. And if there is time, perhaps we can discuss it in groups. Is to avoid procrastination. That's the last one. And all of us know that they said procrastination is the what? Is the what? So you see, time belongs to you, but somebody wants that time from you. And so that person is seen as a thief of our time, and that is procrastination. I want to tell you that if you are in 100, whatever you set yourself to do, start working towards them because you don't have any time. Immediately you start working towards them, it helps you to achieve a lot of things. And I will confess here, and I think a lot of us were doing that. How many of us are active when it is revision week? I was part, that one, all of us. Oh, that tutorials are all could be done. Now I pilot one. So 2 weeks revision week no. Oh, jai. I want to say you know what will happen? One day a ball to a to hospital. I want to say procrastination is an evil person. Oh, I'm being sincere with you. You see, everybody knows. Obi and Nim de Besi watch now. In fact, say, you see, let me explain something to you. I know a lot of us are doing these things, so we don't see the need to stop them. I talked about efficiency, and efficiency is powerful. Do you know that you can graduate with a certain GPA, but that is not the GPA you were supposed to graduate with? Do you know that? It's because that GPA is you didn't because something comfort zone. Okay, that is your comfort zone. You haven't pushed yourself up above that. So yes, you are making 70s and 80s in your end of semester exams, but you could have made 90. You have been getting B pluses and you are okay with it, but you could have gotten a B. Again, look at it from this angle. You are getting your A's, but you could have gotten a B plus and gotten a side business with time you could have gotten and making another extra income such that when you are done with school, you don't need an employer to employ you. Do you get the analogy I'm making? The analogy I'm making is that if we don't stop procrastinating to the last minute and doing our studies there, it does not make us productive, number one. Number two, there is risks of unforeseen events. Just as I said, you can be admitted. There can be an urgency for you to stop your exams or something, and you have not prepared ahead of time. I remember those times that doomsaw was rare. That time, I won't last minute because you start early because like the lights might go off any day, anytime. And so procrastination is something which is not the best. And I would advise all of us that if you want to manage your time well, you need to achieve it. Do you know the reason why those of you who procrastinate find so much joy in doing that? And it's actually so one objective of time management is that it helps to reduce stress. Mentally, a lot of us are not fit. We are not sound. Oh, yes. Like mentally, we are not sound because you are stressing, you are stressed. So you see them, they are stressed because they've not planned their life well. There is a principle that you need to break that large job into bits and pieces and take it up. Imagine your life this way that as a student, if you have a lot of time at your disposal and you break it into smaller units every day you do some, every day you do some, as compared to compiling it and starting from afresh at the end, which one will help you? I'm certainly sure that you breaking it down today is going to help you. And so that is where you need to what to focus on, especially when the tax is overwhelming. When the tax is overwhelming, you need to set that aside. Now, that is the final principle that I wanted to talk about and bring it to an end. And so you need to understand that time management is life management. We've already said that we are battling with the same number of time or same hours of time. And as freshers, continuing students, we need to be set apart from the other person. And some of these skills in managing time will help us. And let me say again that time management is a skill. It's something you learn. It is something you need to be intentional about. And it's a who say obi abrabo so you see some people didn't understand why there are some people who are good academically and they are always present at church. Example, Frank Obey Adai. Frank came to meet me in school, and Frank was one of the guys who was doing that thing. I think there are a lot of others who were doing that. We had colleagues who were good academically. I have mates that I see them in class. They were always in class. I go to class with them, but they never find time to come to church. But let us be different from them. Even though we are in the university, let us be able to find time for our academics. Be there. All the things that I mentioned, all the extracurricular activities, yes, involve yourself, but do that and have the idea that time belongs to God. And in fact, we are mere stewards of that time. And so, with that understanding, already prepare his time down for him and make sure that you are available. And so, a sign of punctuality to the Lord is always being on time everywhere you find yourself. And I think it is proper that as students and as Christians, if we are going to practice better time management in church, then we should be able to practice better time management also in our lecture rooms and our workplaces, in our rooms and everywhere. And I think it would help us very well. So I think I will end here. And then, Gabby, if you have my questions, I want to get it and then ask and generate some responses from us. And then let us see if we have any questions. We'll respond to them. Okay, so I have some questions here I want to access. I don't know if you will be open to share it. Other than that, I would have wished that I give it so that you can briefly discuss and I take your ideas. Which one should we go with? Openly discuss. Okay. All right. Can I get somebody to read the question for me? Anyone? Yes. Who is reading? Who is Jerry? Derek. Where is Derek? Okay, Derek, read for us. Okay, another person. I want another person to read. Joycelyn. Who is Joycelyn? Okay, another person. And who is Erica? Erica. Where is Erica? Aram. Mampa. Overkind. Erica. Who is Erica? Please read for me. Okay. Erica. Where is Erica? Okay. Good. Let us just discuss this quickly and see something if it will help us. Yes. I'll need someone to take the microphones to them.
Two.
Okay.
Imagine your future self 5 years from now. How do you think that?
Oh, kindly. Sounding yet. But you need time, baby.
Imagine your future self 5 years from now. How do you think that some of you would?
And I want to try the year.
How do you think that version of you
Hey,
would want you to spend your time today?
hey, yeah, now give it to me. Okay, so this is the question. Please let's listen. Imagine your future self 5 years from now. How do you think that version of you would want you to spend your time today? Is it clear? Is the question clear? Is the question clear? Okay, so I would elicit responses, but just keep that in mind. Microphone, okay.
If you cut it out, how would you use that time more effectively?
Is that a question?
Yes.
That's all. That be one twenty here. Okay, please read yours for me.
If you are told you have 6 months more to die, I, what about your time will change? I, what will you do differently?
Okay. There's a question here.
If you had an extra 2 hours each day, I, what will you do with it? What's stopping you from making that time now?
Okay. So, just a minute. I think, Gabby, you didn't write her question well. So this is the question. Your question was supposed to be, what is one activity you frequently do that doesn't add much value to your life? If you could cut it, how would you use that? If you could cut it out, how could you use that time more effectively? I think that was the question. Right. Okay. There's another one here.
If you had only 12 hours in a day instead of 24, how would you prioritize your tasks? And what would you earn with it?
Is that all the questions? Okay, there's the last one here.
If someone tracked your activities for an entire week, I, what would they say are your top three priorities? What is one activity you frequently do that doesn't add much value to your life?
Okay. Did we hear the question? Did we hear the question? Again.
If someone asked your activities for, if someone tracked your activities for an entire week, what would they say are your top three priorities? What is one activity you frequently do that doesn't add much value to your life?
So let me change it again. Okay, so this is the question. If someone tracked your activities for an entire week, what would they say are your top three priorities? Do these priorities align with what truly matters to you? So that was the question. All right. So, guys, I think these questions are thought provoking, isn't it? I just want us to reflect on them. Go and sit down while you start to plan your day and your time for the rest of your academics day. Reflect on the questions and start to ask yourself, answer them, especially the one that says, if you are 12 hours a day instead of 24 hours, what were going to be the things you were going to eliminate? It will start to guide you to know certain things that you are wasting time on. And in fact, it will help you become a better version of yourself day in and day out. If your responses to the questions are in like the extreme, all your responses are not giving you good signs, it means you need to sit down. And some of us are always open to help you to plan out your day, to develop workable timetables, steady timetables, and to help you achieve time management goals. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to those in leadership. If anybody is doing so well, or your classmates, anyone you know, myself, I'm willing to help. And let's see how we can better plan our time. Thank you so much, and I'll take questions if there are any. Okay, questions or contributions. Desmond,
Okay,
okay,
so please, my question is, let's say
please your name and your level.
I am Laurentia, level 200.
Right.
Let's say, you see, we are in the almost in the revision week, and let's say you have something that you want to do, like you really want to do it, but there is this scenario where you would have to study for your exam and prepare, yeah. So, like, this is a scenario where you can't also procrastinate because there is no time. So what would you how would you advise that person who is facing the problem of doing that thing that they want to do but can't do due to some yeah.
What is that thing that person wants to do?
Okay, so it's me. So
Okay.
I write stories and poems and other stuff, and I also sell. Then I school too. So I want to develop on my poems and write like develop on it and write more and create content. But I'm in a scenario where I have to also study for my exam because the course is not easy. And if I joke, I'll
Does the
say
writing and the poem that you do affect your academics?
when I was doing it. Okay, at first, I used to procrastinate about the writing. I was like, I'm in school now, after school, I'll do it. When I was in, I think, JHS, SHS, I said the same thing. When I came home, I don't know what I did with my time, I never started. Even though I wanted to start. And when I got to university soon, I thought I could do it, but I realized, the stress, the pressure was becoming more. So I didn't do it. And then I had a friend who told me to like get out of my comfort zone because it's like I was in my comfort zone and I was not doing the things that I'm supposed to do. So I started writing. So that's when I started writing my story. But I hadn't started with the poem and stuff. But recently I started with that one too. And it's like now I feel like there are lots of things to do now academically, and I cannot add that one to it because I don't want to also lack or slack my academics too.
Okay.
So how would you advise me?
Okay. So this is the fine balance that will help you. Writing can be stored, it does not go extinct. What it means is that for some of us, I was also a news writer. What you can do is that write a lot when you have the time and save and keep them, so that when you are in your period of examination, your full focus should be your examination, and you can now go into your library and pick the writings that you already made and circulate those ones. If you have poems, have a directorate, have a registry, keep them there when you have more time at your disposal, because you have alluded to the fact that you kind of procrastinated. So when the semester started, when lectures were not intense, you did a little of the writing. But for now, you are in a space where you need to focus on your exams, because we wouldn't want the work you are doing to affect your academics, because it looks like you have a goal in school to also do well academically. So what I would advise going forward is that when you have the semester starting or you are on vacation, use that to create a library where you can write and keep and save, such that in a period where you are unable to write because of academic demands, you can release them, unless what you are writing about is in the space of time, like it's a trendy issues. If it is such, you might have to coin some little time out of your study period purposefully for that, and you can still achieve that goal. So that would be my suggestion to you, and I think it should work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Desmond.
Hello. So my question is a little bit in line with what Lorisha is saying. So some of us we want to do everything. Some we want to be part of the sports. We want to go to career and counseling, business school, hall, church. How do we stay in control? Again, stay in focus as we combine all these things that we want to achieve. Not that we don't want to do them. We actually want to do them, but how do we stay in focus and stay in control?
Okay. Something must suffer. That's the sincere truth. I was also in that web. I was everywhere some. And because of that, something suffered for me. What suffered for me was that when I was doing my professional course, I had to quit it so that I can get more time for church, be a leader here, be a course rep, and I chose being also the JCL duties. Something had to suffer. Again, something had to suffer because where I took up an extracurricular activity at Radio Universe, they thought that I was not so committed to them because I would choose church over them. So when they want people who are committed to give them awards, me, my name will not be part. something had to suffer. And these things that had to suffer were based on the priorities that I gave to the activities I have. So those activities that you also have, you cannot achieve all at a go. What will mean is that one has to what, suffer. And so sit down, analyze them, and see which one has to suffer. Some might have to suffer because you might in the future give yourself in for it. Me, I sat down and knew that those things I needed it to aid me. I knew I wouldn't become a journalist. Me, I knew. So I needed that front to get some skill sets, meet some people, meet my lecturers, because now I could talk to them and other things that I was doing. The teaching too that I was doing, the kids and mastering, they had to suffer because at a point I wasn't going. So my advice to you is that just sit down, have a thorough list. And all these things I'm saying, I have a colleague who was a church member and he qualified. He's in the US now because he didn't choose church leadership. In fact, even when the offer was made to him, he declined. He chose his academic and professional qualification. So you always have to, decide on some of these things, and one has to always suffer for you. And it will be very difficult to do everything and do it perfectly. One has to always suffer. Or you might not be able to achieve one. It might be in stages. So you might want to achieve one and later you work on the other. That would be my suggestion. Okay. Do you have a question? Okay, I think there is a hand here. Microphone.
Mine is submission. I think I've tasted both sides of you learning in bits towards exams and cramming everything and trying to learn them. So when I was doing the bit side, I got to understand even before exams, I'm prepared for exams. So I'll pick the notebook, go through the first page. I think I know everything. I'll close the page, revise it in my head. I get to know everything is already in there. So I'll just be flipping through. When I'm done, I'm done. I put the book aside. In the university, I tried doing the last minutes learning, and it was going well. So you cram everything, you play footballs, you do whatever you are supposed to do until it's coming. Until I had real analysis, I really crammed everything. It was huge. So I got to the exams room, we started everything. I think it was a 1 hour paper, like 30 minutes into the paper, I was done with. I think the questions were 15 or I was done with about 30. Instantly, my mind went blank. I couldn't remember anything. Fortunately for me, I was done with 30, and 30, I'll be able to pass about 25. To be the we are way back. Unfortunately, when it came, I was able to pass through. And since then, I told myself, cramming books or lecture notes, then no, I don't want to go blank again.
Me, a friend who gave me. Yeah. No, he passed though. Yes. Nobody is taking that away. But he didn't pass without confidence. He had to stress himself out. Okay. And he had to, you see, if did you had an A in that program, right? I say the pass as he didn't get reset. So you had an A. Okay. Either. So it was exactly. So I mean, but if he was someone who wants to be in the academia, it might be that in the future, because of that, you and somebody else they want to give a scholarship to, you might miss out by a 0 point something, and it could have been coming from that area. So whilst we have, there's that question that says that um, when you didn't know, you were forgiven. But now that you know, go and sin no more because we will judge you and we'll use that as a benchmark of you knowing. So now just go and make sure that you have that, and then it will help you. It will help you. We just take away the stress away, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. The thing about academic work in the university is that It's not helping us. And I must be sincere. Our model of teaching here is not helping us as students. And so we are not transformed. We are more or less like giving back what the lecturers pour to us. And it's not, those are the issues we are facing in the country, like parliament, they'll be raising tables and all those things. It's a national issue, but we'll overcome them. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Any more questions? If not, we'll bring it to an end. And level hundreds, please can you raise your hands again at level hundreds? I think some joined later. Okay. I hope, are you in level 100? You are not. Okay, so level hundreds, I hope you've learned something. Please, did you learn something? Yes, and as I said, we envy you. It's a 4.0 MIS web something. So make sure you make us proud. Make sure whenever there is that decision, you take the decision to be here and in the church first and foremost. And then we are confident. It's been a long time we had a valedictorian from COCUG. And so I want to submit to Osofo and leadership that in the next 3 or 4 years, or somebody here should take it up. Somebody here should take it up for us. And let's be once again proud. May God bless us all. May God give us wisdom, knowledge, and may we manage our time well, such that when God comes, we would have salvation full and free. May God bless us all. Amen.
Hallelujah.